People have been suggesting BBL and plastic surgery. It doesn't seem like she needed that. Doesn't feel like this would be a moment to do that. That's more of a summer holiday move, not Christmas. She was busy. She had some events, family events, definitely photo ops, presents for the kids. You know, another person comments, I am more leaning down to something to do with William and his spending more time with the mistress. Imagine if your spouse had one and everybody and his brother knew about it and who she was. The thing I read way back as the reason for Waity Katie was because she kept thinking he was going to be a faithful husband. He would get the wild oats sown and that would be it. But eventually she was given the talk that Diana got that royal men had an actual history of extramarital affairs. And one just got on with it and accepted the perks of the life and the children as enough. She probably had more or less. She was friends with Rose. They are neighbors because William wanted the estate next door to her. Except Harry was to sit beside her at a state dinner. Meghan was not invited as she was a fiancée and actress and not ready for that kind of event. Harry was seated beside her because William is a jealous man and didn't want other men flirting back. With Harry as her dinner companion, there was no danger in that happening. But afterward, when the press mentioned it and showed them together, Meghan demanded to know all about her, and Harry told her so she wouldn't have anything to worry about. Well, that was all the ammo that Meghan needed, and she went to the press and told a friendly reporter the story to embarrass Kate because she can't hold a candle to her. And she is the future queen. William wouldn't flirt with her or even barely acknowledge her. She retaliated, and now the press actually ran with it, even though it was widely known under the table by practically everybody in the elite social circles. And it has not died down since because the stories are true. If they weren't, it would have died out a long time ago. This has weighed on Catherine, her marriage, her children, considering part of the rumor is that William is the gossiped father of the twins, who are older than George. David Rock Savage is widely rumored to be a friend of Dorothy and lives most of the time in Paris. Unless it's an event that requires he exercise his high status as bearer of the crown on a pillow ahead of the king or queen. And whatever else he does. What? Additionally, also, Rose had a quickie marriage. The engagement was announced 2 days before the wedding, and she gave birth to the twins 4 months later. I'd like to see the DNA on those kids. One person replies, wow, that is wild. I feel bad for Catherine. It's not fair to be in a marriage like that. However, it's possible she knew what she was getting into and just didn't realize how hard it would be. Another person adds, every wife of a man who cheats thinks he won't with them, or they are willing to look the other way, which is what Catherine and Diana and even the Queen had to do. I think it's just part of what elites do. She would have known what she was getting into, but I think she imagined a meaningless dalliance here and there, not an over a decade affair. This is the reason I suspect for the falling out between the brothers. William knows Harry told Meghan, who sold it to the press, who only went with it because the story came from Harry, so it had a reliable source. Now the story won't die down because it's not just rubbish gossip. Maybe the kids have asked if they've read or heard about it. The one twin is good friends with George, or maybe they both are, and this makes it impossible to extricate from them altogether. A reply. So, let me get this straight. William is possibly cheating on Kate with her former friend, their neighbor, and a woman whose children who don't just play with kids, and a woman whose children don't just play with Kate's kids, but might actually be William's kids, and you're finding a way to blame Meghan if Kate had a mental health breakdown? I've never been more baffled by a group of people than I am by those who hate Meghan Markle. It's like an irrational level of hate. Yes, I see them on the most random, obscure posts. My posts with 20 views commenting, "Is that you, Meghan?" And it will have a bunch of likes. It's really, really weird. It's like they're hypnotized into this weird, delusional fantasy where Meghan is their personal, close rival who's lurking on the same social media posts they are. It's like they want her to be close, like a negative parasocial relationship. Yes, including the people that like and follow your posts and your account so they can get a front seat to making hate comments. Let's talk about it. A negative parasocial relationship, like a reverse fandom, hate watching. It's different than any other hate group formed around a singular person I've ever seen online. And I grew up on the internet. It's a very intense and obsessive hatred, almost as if they're under a spell where it's all they think about. Reverse stands that are mostly middle-aged and don't like special accents. They've told me so in the comments. Wow. A last comment. I feel like if she's having any surgery and it's not DV, it could be colon resectioning due to IBD or hysterectomy due to her troubled pregnancies. Kate is worryingly fit compared to what she was before they got back together and married. Crohn's could explain this, but could there be a complication that she'd be in hiding this long? Another person adds, I think the Rothschild connection is the key thing going on here. I saw these side-by-side photo comparisons of Jacob Rothschild and Rose Hanbury. It was rather curious how much she looks like him. Her grandmother was a bridesmaid at Queen Elizabeth II's weddings, so she's been adjacent to the royals and upper establishment, and her mother likewise. Her sister Marina looks even more like a Rothschild. William was rumored linked to Rose long before he married Kate, and was said to be the reason for her hasty shotgun wedding to David Rock Savage. They announced their engagement when no one knew they dated. She announced her pregnancy the next day, and they got married on the third day. Then she had her twins in October instead of January, claiming she went into labor early, but really she was 5 months pregnant when the shotgun wedding took place. Twins run in Diana's family. Interesting. The propensity to have twins can be passed down through the male line, but wouldn't make a male's partner more likely to have twins. Having twins relates to how a woman ovulates, whether she releases 2 eggs or whether the eggs split. So William having the twins gene can't have anything to do with Rose having twins. Sounds like another Charles, Camilla, and Diana love triangle. Make sure Kate stays away from any tunnels.